Yeah, sometimes like writing book also helps in creating a strong network.
So I want to just say a story about how I came about writing this book. So I thought I'd give you a perspective of crowdsourcing, right? So this was 2008. Cloud was just beginning out, coming up, and there was a lot of discussion. I joined Google groups called Cloud. It's a cloud computing, the name of the group, and I was just listening in, right? So there's one guy he was the founder of a startup called Anomaly. He said, "Oh, you know what? I think there's a lot of confusion on cloud. It's time to write a book on this." So he came up with within like a day. He came up with the index, and he said, no one knew who each other in the group. He said, "Oh, there are about 15 chapters, and I want people to come in and join me in writing this book." So within a day, people just signed up, right, for like architecture, for business, economics, security, myself. But 12 folks just signed in. And then we went and said, let's go and meet, and we had a weekly conference calls. And unfortunately, the book didn't pan out the way we wanted, but through that, I came to know the publisher. So the publisher said, hey, you know what? You guys have enough meat on just for security. Why don't you come up with a book by yourself? So myself and my co-author, we joined together and said, okay, we'll put our own topics, and we came up with a proposal. So it's amazing, again, we started with something else, and because we just networked and knew the publisher through the first channel, we were able to immediately put a proposal, and that became a book. So it's another case study.
Yeah, I did meet a CEO of a startup company, and they're big into open source. So 4 or 5 years back, like open source was a buzzword, and they had a hard time getting traction. Everyone was saying like they have an open source product. So one way they differentiated was they hired a guy who is good in writing book. So they contributed a lot of content to him, and they wrote a book, and that's when they got a lot of traction, and they eventually sold the company.